What's your worst roommate experience?
I'm not going to throw him under the bus.
What do you mean?
That would be really mean if I did that. My worst roommate experience, I was a bad roommate when I was a senior. Actually, no. Okay, this is after I graduated from college. I had a succession of roommates, but none was the worst than this dude who I met one time. None of my other roommates tried hard enough to meet him before he moved into the house, so it was down to just me to get the impression of him, and I thought he's kind of a weird dude, but he seems all right. So he moved in, never paid rent, was a bounty hunter who had just random people coming over to our house. He left a bunch of stuff at our house.
A bounty hunter?
Yeah.
That's such a...
Left a bunch of stuff at our house. He forced his dad to come pick it up from us. Never paid a cent in rent. Disappeared one weekend. And then we found a Facebook group that was dedicated to him and the trail of destruction that he left in his wake. Yeah, that dude was the worst.
I'm convinced.
That's the worst.
I am convinced, because I was an RA. I heard plenty of bad roommate stories.
I feel so bad for you.
I loved it. I thought it was really fun. Also, it helped me make friends. So I heard plenty, but I always heard like girls' stories were always like, I had these girl roommates. My friend had them, and they literally were so mad at each other because the one girl would open the window without the other one asking. She told her she couldn't look at her fish anymore. She said she's always looking at my fish.
That is so annoying. So I've had several roommates that kept looking at my fish.
So I felt like the girl stories were always like that. Like the one roommate conflict I had to deal with was like the one girl would have her boyfriend over too often, and which is fair.
Fair. That happens at every college campus.
But then like the boys' stories, like I had a friend where like this guy held him up against the wall and choked him.
Hey, I need to switch roommates. I just got assaulted by my roommate.
I know. I was always like, geez, I'm glad I'm not a male RA. Man, they had to deal with a lot worse stuff. I'd be like, yeah, my roommate's a drug addict, and he sells drugs out of our room.
And you're dealing with somebody looking at their fish. Okay.
She keeps looking at Goldie. I'm getting sick and tired of it.
My worst roommate experience was my freshman year of college. I signed up for housing late. This is a shout out to anyone who's listening to this who needs to sign up for college housing. Do it fast. I got put in extended housing, and I had 4 roommates in one room. It was 5 of us in one room. Oof. It was like a room that's probably like 2 times the size of this room. Okay. And there were 5 of us in it for the whole year. And the one girl that was our roommate, she was like sorry to the only children. She was an only child, and you could tell like she had no social understanding whatsoever of like how to interact with people. And she would talk on her phone all the time to her grandma, who would like do her homework for her.
Grandma's doing homework.
She'd be like, Grandma, did you finish my paper?
Why would you entrust your paper with your grandmother?
I don't know. I thought it was so weird. She's a very interesting person.
Yikes.
But that's like not that bad of a roommate experience, but it's still, I was like, what is going on? This girl, she was really weird.
Don't look at my fish, dude.
Worst roommate, first husband.
Oh. Nice.
Okay, that was really rude. That was really rude. I try not to say anything.
Will he ever listen to this?
I don't even think he knows I have.
I also feel like that's fair, if it's true.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, college roommates are going to be bad. You have roommates at, like, camp when you grow up, and you have some stories. Like, I've got teenagers, and literally the only thing I focus on for, like, teaching them as their mom is how to be, like, a compatible roommate. Like, is there any other thing I need to be teaching them?
No.
At this point?
No, because I think a lot falls under that umbrella.
Exactly.
Well, you're also teaching them how to, like...
It encompasses a lot of things.
You're dealing with other humans. It's, like, socializing.
And because it all stems from trauma.
Yeah.
From having to share space with people that aren't respectful or, like, just think that they're the only people that matter. Or frankly, that just didn't get taught how to be respectful in a shared space.
Yeah.
True. One time in college, so I had my sophomore year, I lived with 2 boys. And I provided all the furniture and dishes and cleaned the house and did like literally everything. But I got annoyed doing that. And one time I literally just threw away. Okay, all the dishes were dirty for like 26 days consecutive.
Oh,
You just
my
threw it away.
The
gosh.
boys would just eat there. Well, I was eating training table with the hockey team, so I never ate at home or anything. So I was like, these dishes aren't mine. I don't have to do them. I'm not eating at home. And they'd pile up, and nobody would do them until I did them. And one day I just threw all the dishes away. I gave them each one set of dishes that they could hand wash after each use.
Nice.
And then I've like never had a roommate again since. I was like, forget it. Even if I go on vacation with my friends, I'm like, I pay extra. I'm like, I'm not.
Get your own room.
I'm not sharing space. That's it. I want my own.
Hey, there's no way around. On top of the mound, I'm queen of the mountain. My cup running over. I already told ya, I'm moving fast. You live in the past.
Oh my gosh, that one was extra
Right off the
satisfying.
bat.
Ooh. The Women's Hockey Pod is brought to you by Dogwood Coffee. I'm going to sip on my second rec league
I'm also
of the morning.
You guys are crazy.
You got a
also
coffee in there?
It's literally from yesterday. I put it in this cup with ice.
It's like still frozen.
It's yesterday's Dogwood.
Yeah.
But seriously, shout out to Dogwood, our wonderful marquee sponsor. Your name up in lights. We love Dogwood. Dogwood has fueled every episode of the Women's Hockey Pod since the beginning, and we couldn't be more grateful to our friends from Dogwood. 3 locations in Minneapolis and St. Paul. Jocelyn and I are wearing the very cool hats. Kayla is not wearing her very cool
I forgot
hat.
it at home. I'm sorry.
You'll get fired later. But shout out to Dogwood.
Bring your green hat.
Get your green hat. Let's go.
We have a whole bunch of important women's hockey news to share with you guys this week.
So much stuff.
Couldn't be more excited to be here with you guys. I'm Jossie, Kayla Jo behind the producer Mike.
Don't look at my fish.
Stop looking at her fish.
Stop looking at
I just thought that was a really funny thing. And how do you like control that?
Well, see, that's probably
Like,
like
what if you're gone?
What
mean,
if
I
the
feel
fish
like-
is looking at me?
Here's the thing. It's not really about whether or not you look at the fish. It's like this person is experiencing their first time in their life where they're not going to be in control of something. And
No,
they're-
come on. Let's not psychoanalyze
I'm
it.
just saying
Let's just make fun of her.
Let's
for
This is
just
why
make
I'm
fun of her.
teaching my
fish.
teenagers.
I think once
How to
you
be
live with someone
human.
and you hate someone so much because you just aren't compatible that literally everything that they do annoys you. So
Okay,
this girl
that's
was
bad.
like,
It's true.
she keeps looking at my fish. I want to punch her.
If that fish is looking at me, I'm not backing down.
Is it a beta fish? Like, is it a?
It was a classic college tiny little tank.
So who wouldn't be looking at
Yeah,
this
they're
thing?
pretty.
What is wrong with her?
Its little fins just got me entranced.
Entranced.
Dude, beta fish are fun to watch.
They
How
are.
boring their life is, though. Seriously.
Living in
I
a
know.
tank.
They're like a 3x3.
They give them
Their spaces are so
First
little.
of all, did you know that beta fish are supposed to live in like 20-gallon tanks? Like to,
And people put them
People
in.
You know,
put them
they put them in a
tiny
they put them in a
boxes.
little 3x3
They sell them-
with a clear and
Uh-huh.
another beta fish.
and they sell them in like and
I had
they're
them when
not
I had them in
supposed-
college.
Of
They're
course
not
you did.
supposed to be in tanks with each other either. They're
We
they
separated them
fight.
with the clear.
They're not. They hurt
you did.
themselves.
We know.
Listen,
We know.
my sister
know.
is an aquarium lover. She has like 5 in her house.
An aquarium lover.
Listen, she's just
she's
a-
an aquatic enthusiast.
No, she's like
Enthusiast.
if it has a heartbeat, I'm gonna save it type of a person. So she
When they have-
saved the painted
When
turtles.
beta fish have babies, they
spiders.
have like 6,000
yes, she
babies.
will let the spiders go outside. She will not kill them.
Spiders have heartbeats.
I don't know.
Probably.
I'm not a spider.
They have souls.
I don't know, man. Harry
They're
Potter.
not
and the,
epidigital.
Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets kind of ruined spiders.
Oh
for
God!
Me, so.
Don't get me started on
Aragog?
spiders. Yeah.
Arachnophobia was the first scary movie I ever watched.
Is that a
That's-
movie?
I've
If
never
you were
heard of
born in the early 80s.
Arachnophobia? That's a
that.
movie?
Sounds like a horrible movie.
Yeah,
I would not like it.
it was
You know what it
bad.
sounded like you said? Iracophobia. Arachnophobia.
That's if you're born in the late 90s.
or the early 90s. Should we talk a little talk a little women's hockey?
Yes, we should. PWHL, they're mostly all traveling, getting ready, centralizing, whatever, for their last Rivalry Series game. So there's not a ton. But I did have a note. The Fleet played in front of a sold-out crowd at Sangha Center. So I'm excited about that because we've been talking about that this season, getting some
Round
people.
of
There's a lot of
applause.
fans for the Fleet, but they've got a lot of barriers for entry. So to see them play a Saturday afternoon game at that sold-out Sangha Center
That's
is
cool.
very exciting.
Is that just a random game?
Remember how they have 2 home games at Sanga's
Oh,
in the
yeah.
month of February and March or
Yeah.
something like that. And then they did have 2 TBDs on their schedule that they've moved to some location in to Boston proper. So
I think it's a Ganis.
yeah, that sounds right.
Okay.
It's like a 6,000 seater maybe. And then, but overall, average attendance per game in the PWHL this season, 7,272. And that's a
Wow.
33% increase over last season's attendance. So like,
Fantastic.
That's so
That's
good.
news. I feel like the second year is probably like the hardest because
Yeah,
it's
like-
like you get over the hump of like, oh, this is exciting and new
you're right.
to like,
So you
oh,
got like real people coming
Yeah,
back
that's
and back and
cool.
back again. Plus
And
you've got
more.
new people coming to all these takeover tour towns.
Repeat customers.
really
man.
cool.
So that's like my major PWHL note from this week, just because I am so excited to see this league succeed. And the main way to do that is make moolah.
Succeed. And we do have a couple of Minnesota Frost wins here. Minnesota Frost beat Boston 5-2 and Toronto 4-3 in overtime. Britta Curl Salemi. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah,
I think
that's
it's
how they.
salami or something.
They always say salami.
I think
Salami.
it is
Because I always
salami.
think about
Britta Salami.
Yeah.
Britta Curl Salemi and Claire Thompson score in the shootout in the win over Toronto, and Taylor Heisey leads the way with 2 goals in the win over Boston.
I saw Claire Thompson win, and Kendall Coyne Schofield were 2 of 5 players of the month for the PWHL.
Didn't we already talk about those games?
Probably last
No.
week. Did they play again?
No, I
This
don't think
week?
they played since last week. I'm pretty sure we already talked about those.
Oh, that was on January 28th.
Yeah, times are
That's why I didn't write them
Get
down.
with the pace,
Did you
man.
guys
Get
guys
with
know
the
that the
pace.
Frost beat Boston and Toronto?
For my
Ah,
God.
shit.
All of a sudden, I was like,
All of
wait
our
a
fans
minute.
are going to
Did
be
I
so
miss
pissed
these
about
games?
this.
Because I normally watch them.
Sorry,
so-
guys, Peter ruined
I know.
everything again.
Everyone's going to be like,
I won't look
fine.
at I won't
can't
look at
believe
your
they
fish.
Did this?
It's like an. It has a meaning.
Stop looking at my fish.
It's like when you're annoyed with someone, just say, "Stop looking at my fish." New T-shirt idea.
You know, I'm cutting a lot of people out of my life lately. I'm going to start telling all of
They
them.
keep
Stop
looking at my fish, man.
I'm gonna need to tell my friend Courtney this because this was her resident that had this argument with their roommate. I'm gonna make her listen to this episode.
Yes, please. Please, please, please.
The things college kids think matter is like so funny. Anyway.
All right, now that Peter's ruined the PWHL segment.
Yeah, we should just cut that slide right off. Just cut that slide
Now
right off.
Peter's fired.
All right, let's just go to D1 because there's so much to talk about in college hockey right now. Like these teams are finally getting to the point of the season where every conference game matters. These points are critical.
100%.
The clutch players are coming out of the woodwork and they're starting to establish kind of who's this hierarchy, who's going to make things happen. So Atlantic Conference D1. Penn State's in the lead for that conference with 45 points still. They're undefeated in the conference. Let's see. There's 111 goals scored this year so far for Penn State. Leading the way for Penn State in goals, Maddie Christian, Caitlin Roberts, and Stella Retrum with 16, 10, and 9 goals respectively, which is 32% of Penn State's 111 goal production. And I thought that was newsworthy. Well, yeah, I did the math. I got math in there. But Penn State's got a big roster, and these 3 Minnesotans are accounting for literally 32% of their
I love
goals
it.
this season.
Elk River, Chaska, Chanhassen, and Maple Grove.
You'd know better than
Caitlin
me.
Roberts played for
I could
Maple
look at
Grove.
my
I'm pretty sure
spreadsheet.
she did.
Caitlin Roberts wasn't she a private school?
No. She's a monster, though.
She's
I
is
remember
so
watching
fun
her
to
when
watch.
Yeah, Chanhassen, Minnesota.
If you don't get to go to Penn State to watch their games or come to the U when they come play the U, I see them in the summer at the Selly League and the Beauty League at Braemar. So there are opportunities to see some of these girls skate, and Caitlin Roberts is just fun to watch.
Fantastic hockey player.
Hockey East, there's about 5 or 6 games per team remaining in Hockey East. BU is leading the way with 50 points. UConn behind him with 46. They're about 2 games behind BU in number of games played. Northeastern and Boston College are chasing them. This week, the Stop It goaltender of the week is none other than New Hampshire's Sedona Blair with yet another shutout. I think that's her 6th shutout of the season. So that was a 43-save shutout on Friday night against Holy Cross. They won 4-3 again on Saturday as well. Sorry, I think they split their weekend. New Hampshire did.
Yep.
But they also provided 2 Hockey East top performers of the week last week. So Jada Habish at UConn. She's scoring. She's tied for 10th in the conference with 14 points, 9 goals, and 5 assists this season. So she becomes a Hockey East top performer of the week. And Maggie Hansel gets 2 assists this week and helps Boston College. Let's see, is that what that's saying? No. She's playing for Vermont. So she picks up 2 assists last week and becomes a Hockey East top performer of the week. Congratulations.
Who's playing for Vermont?
Well, I'm trying to... Okay.
Maggie Hansel plays for BU.
BC.
BU.
Oh, BU swept BC and Vermont.
BU. Just BU.
But they swept BC and Vermont last weekend. Yeah. Yes. BU took over first place in Hockey East last week with those 2 games.
I feel like we talked about this either last week or the week before.
No, that was when they played in the Beanpot.
No, I'm saying that BU and BC should be better than they are.
Oh.
Nationally.
I feel like I didn't.
Considering how many hockey players come out of that Boston area on the men's and women's side, there's no reason that Boston College should be 15th in the country.
Well, aren't they just busy renovating their facilities? And I think there's some stuff going on there. I think there's like just some.
That may be the case, but I
dealing
still
with
think that the
adversity,
Boston
maybe.
area schools outside of
Could
Northeastern
be more competitive.
should be. Right now, Northeastern's 13th, BU's 14th, and BC is 15th, but I feel like they should be better.
I know. I think it's hard with the WCHA having 5 of the top 11 teams. Some of those numbers are diluted, but not necessarily like falsely diluted. But yeah, they're still good schools. But the WCHA is just so strong. It's like in a league of its own. I mean, BU's hard. They've come and played like 3 WCHA teams this season to tough games. So I think that their ranking doesn't necessarily reflect really what they're doing.
Agree to disagree.
We'll bring it back. We'll come back next week with more on that.
Let's talk a little ECAC.
Okay, Lindsay Avar, top ranked Minnesotan in the ECAC point standing. So she's tied for 12th. Sorry. She has 16 points, tied for 12th. She's 3rd in the conference for goals. So she's had a couple really big weekends, too. I've written her name down every weekend in Summit Scores. Let's see, in the ECAC. Oh, and Lindsay Avar is 12th. All of the players listed above her in points in the ECAC play for schools that have no Minnesotans on the roster. So I thought that was interesting. Cornell was the first.
Well, and I guess technically Lindsay Avar is not a native of Minnesota.
Where does she come from?
Portland. The Portland area.
Where did she play?
She played her high school for Minnetonka. She moved. There was a Portland Winterhawks team 7 or 8 years ago that included, what is this kid's name? Rylan Oster, Tanner Brender, Lindsay Avar, Billy Jacobson Couch. So there were 5 kids off this Portland Winterhawks team that all moved to Minnesota within a year of each other, and they all ended up in the
That
Western
never
Burbs.
happens.
It's crazy. It was one big migration from Portland. But I guess we can count her because she played her high school hockey here.
Okay, right. So we count her. We count you, Lindsay.
Welcome
Cornell
under the tent.
and Colgate have been neck and neck all season long. They're within a game of each other in the standings in the ECAC, and they're going to play a jamboree this weekend with RPI and Union. So at Union on Friday, she's got 14 points this season. See what she can do this season or this weekend. Sophie Helgeson at RPI, and she has 1 goal and 11 assists this season. So they're the highest producing Minnesotans on Union and RPI, and they both have an opportunity to kind of jumble up the stats or the standings at the ECAC this weekend.
Fantastic.
Isn't that exciting? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love that voice you use.
Gabby Rude is the forward of the week.
Now you're overcompensating for the voice. I think you should go back to that voice.
It sounded like you were doing like a Kermit
the Frog?
Yeah.
My For You page on Instagram has like a ton of these like sad Peppy and like Kermit the Frog like looking out a window, like a rainy window, like longingly. So I guess I kind of had Kermit on the mind.
You're wearing a green and white hat.
There you
I
go.
bring my green hat
In
wherever.
a green cup.
I bring my green hat wherever I can go.
We need to make a Jossie puppet too.
A puppet?
We talk about puppets weirdly, a weird amount of times
I'm a
on our
huge fan
other
of
show.
I've never talked about a puppet.
Huge
I'm
fan.
gonna make custom Peter and Tony puppets so that they can do it like while they're
Yes,
on the
my Jossie puppet's doing a Kermit voice the whole time.
I'm Jossie.
Wow, the defender of the week.
Defender of the week.
Rory Gilday. Congratulations, you guys. Gabby Root and Rory Gilday, both of them have had 2 huge consecutive weeks. So
Awesome.
Well-deserved ECAC. Pow wow. WCHA.
Tommy's on a tear. What's
No
up?
kidding. The Tommies come back after sweeping Duluth and split with SCSU. So that is super exciting because they're ranked 11. So that's a second big weekend for the Tommies, overcoming a team ranked, that's supposed to win on paper and bringing it to their opponent that weekend. So keep on watching the Tommies as they continue to move up. I think we're going to keep seeing this consistently.
And we were lucky enough to check in with Bethany Brosson last week, and we asked her how important it was to keep the momentum going after that initial series sweep of UMD and to get a split even with SCSU.
Huge.
The consistency is starting to come around.
I think the first game, was that a closer game? Maybe I'm recalling wrong, but I thought it was like a 4-3. I think they played a good weekend overall.
I honestly do not remember. Why don't you look that up? I'm going to keep rolling here. With less than a month to play in the regular season, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Ohio State have each locked up home ice advantage for the WCHA first-round playoff games. No surprise, the top 3 teams in the country. Sloan Matthews had a hat trick in the second period against the University of Minnesota on the 1st of February to earn her first career hat trick and help the Buckeyes to a 7-3 win. Buckeyes and Gophers split. Are you surprised at all by that?
Hey, I think that's a good weekend for Minnesota. The way things have been going for Minnesota. I think that's a really good weekend for Minnesota. They needed that. Ohio, that brings them to tied in standings at 48 points apiece. They're still pretty significantly behind Wisconsin there, but they're going to be battling for that national tournament berth, and all these games are critical. So to get a win is great for their confidence, I think, going into the postseason tournament.
The pride of South St. Paul, McKenna Deering, scores the game winner in overtime to help Bemidji State, which could use some good news at this point of the season, to a 3-2 win over Minnesota State. Deering records 2 goals in a game for the first time in her career. Congratulations, McKenna Deering. She was one of those South St. Paul archetypes. I think of Lily Ramirez, and I also think of current defender Lily Pockel, where you have this incredible athlete that Dave Palmquist just has on the back end like a point guard with carte blanche to do whatever they want. Skate the puck up, woman, the top of the power play and virtually never come off the ice. Nice to see McKenna getting some love at the college level.
Nice.
Wisconsin will host Minnesota in the Border Battle Series this weekend beginning on Saturday. The Badgers swept the first meeting between the two teams earlier this season by scores of 5-0 and 4-3. Jossie, where do your allegiances lie for this border battle? I will remind you that you live in Minnesota.
Here's the thing. The last time, okay, all right, it's coming down to the crunch time, and I still know the person who stepped on the W. So I still feel.
Who was it? Who was it?
That's besides the point.
Was it Brianna Decker?
It wasn't Decker. She
You
wasn't
sure?
even at camp. There's only one Badger at camp that stepped on the W, and it wasn't Decker.
Was it you?
It was me.
It was you?
It was
You
an
mean the
accident.
M?
Oh, the M. Yeah, the upside down W. I told you.
Peter, this was a whole segment. Are you feigning surprise?
I never said it was me.
No, but I'm being reminded of it
I
now.
never said it was me, honestly.
In the
Only
podcast,
a few people
Don't
know.
ever look at
treated.
my fish ever again.
I told those girls, if needed, I would cheer for them.
Okay.
And so I think because Wisconsin can afford the losses and Wisconsin could use some good lessons learned time of the season, and now is the time for them to do it because they haven't had any other slip-ups pretty much all season. And then, frankly, their weekend against Duluth was tight. It was like 2 1-goal games. And I believe they went into OT. And then they split their weekend with St. Cloud. So the first time they lost a point all season was two series ago. And therefore, I think maybe Minnesota, the upside down W, might get my vote this weekend.
So just to be clear, you stepped on the logo.
It was me.
Wow, you just admitted it.
Dude, there were like at least
There's
3
gonna be
golfers that saw it.
so many people that don't want you to look at their fish.
That's what I'm worried about. Don't leave comments about it.
Good
I
luck
don't want
going
to see anyone's comments
swimming
about it. I already know
ever
you're
again.
pissed. I will pay repentance for this for the rest of my life. I don't need to hear about it from you guys. All right. I have some exciting
So did you step on the logo? Powwow.
powwow. This is a little
The
redundant.
Newha.
This is a little redundant because this is WCHA powwow, and again, I got to say WCHA powwow last week, and it's not often because these spots usually are taken by some of these major names. But this week, the WCHA Defender of the Week is McKenna Deering at Bemidji, and some other nominees this week that are exciting: Juliana Gazdick and Emma Peschel. And then our other nominees for Goaltender of the Week include Danny Strom. But Danny Strom earned Rookie of the Week for the WCHA with her series against St. Cloud State. So other nominees for that included Bella Shipley.
Just Minnesotans all over the board.
So that's the thing.
man.
Yeah, I like to talk about, and these are all of the week. But then if you go, so this is a fun week of the month because we're also getting the monthly awards. So the WCHA, let's see, honor roll or nominees for Forward of the Month for the WCHA for the month of January include Whitney Tuttle and Lauren Stensley. And then for Defender of the Month for the WCHA, nominees included Juliana Gazdick and Emma Peschel. And then for Goaltender of the Month, Danny Strom is a nominee for Goaltender of the Month. So that, like I said, that's kind of cool because only like 3 or 4 people are even noted at all, and only one is going to get Goaltender of the Month. So these are the other nominees. But Danny Strom does get WCHA Rookie of the Month. So that's a pretty awesome honor as a goaltender.
That is. And her mother, I believe it's her mother, Bobby, pointed out that her cousin Tyler Hennon was named the CCHA Men's Rookie of the Week at the
fun.
same week that Danny was Rookie of the Week. So
Well,
Tyler
but this
Hennon,
is of the month. And so Danny got Rookie of the Week this week
yeah,
at the WCHA, but she also earned Rookie of the Month.
yeah.
Okay.
But Tyler didn't get Rookie of the Month.
Oh,
Tyler
yeah.
just got
Don't tell
Rookie of the
Tyler.
Week.
Yeah, okay.
Over at Augustana. So that it seems like there's some athletic bloodlines.
Yeah, that's
over there.
fun. That is fun. There's some other nominees for Rookie of the Month, Morgan Smith. Let's see. Some of these names are less familiar. Anyway, WCHA, always fun to see Minnesotans come and surface to the top of the recognition at the WCHA because it is such a world-class league, and they're playing such high-level hockey.
For sure. Should we buzz through Newha? We've got like 10 minutes.
Newha. Shark bait, Newha. Yes. Player of the Week honor roll, Sammy Bowlby at Sacred Heart. Player of the Month honor roll, Sydney Antoniakis at Sacred Heart and Audrey Jackson at St. Anselm. Defender of the Week honor roll, Olivia LaRoche at Sacred
Again,
Heart.
it feels like she's up
Yeah.
for something every week.
And here's another one, Defender of the Week honor roll, Julia Stevens at Franklin Pierce. Goaltender of the Week honor roll, Carly Green at Sacred Heart. It's a big week for Sacred Heart. I know they lead the Newha, or tied for the lead in the Newha with LIU.
Apparently.
Annika Lavender and Abby Thompson also get honor roll honors for Goaltender of the Week. Goaltender of the Month for Newha, Abby Thompson. So we say her name pretty often.
Very nice.
Honor roll Goaltender of the Month, Lauren Larson and Annika Lavender. So again, those names are just kind of rotating through. Rookie of the Week honor roll, Ella Holm. She also earned Rookie of the Month honor roll for the month of January. So 7 goals and 5 assists for 12 points this season in her conference. She's ranked first in her conference for game-winning goals with 3. Keep up the good work, Ella Holm. She's being honored almost every week as a Rookie of the Week.
There's so many awards from these conferences. It is
Well, I mean, if you look at it,
unbelievable.
there's really like 6 weekly, and then they make a monthly. So it's a lot of awards, but it's not a lot of awards really. And the same girls keep showing up. So point leaders in the Nuha, tied for fourth for points in the Nuha, Michaela Kelly with 19 points, 8 goals and 11 assists. Tied for sixth, Tyra Turner, 8 goals and 10 assists. Tied for eighth, Audrey Jackson. Audrey, is that the second time I did that?
Jackson.
Audrey Jackson, 12 goals and 5 assists, 17 points. And then I wanted to get Ella Holman there. So she's the next Minnesotan on the list of conference leaders at 17th. And she's got 12 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nuha. We have noted a bunch of these girls in other portions of the segment for our summit scores. But for those that we didn't, I will let you know who's been scoring. St. Thomas this weekend, Ella Berger, Chloe Boreen. Ella Berger scored both nights. We've already talked about a lot of these WCHA players. Izzy Fairchild scored for Bemidji. Alexa Hanrahan for Sacred Heart. Taylor Keppel for Stonehill. Is that right? She's even Minnesotan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Her dad is the head coach at Holy Family.
Got it. Shay Mesner for Dartmouth. Bria Parent at St. Cloud. Angelina Ruiz for St. Michael's. Grace Sedura at UMD. Whitney Tuttle scored twice for MSU, and Emily Zunwinkle for OSU. Addie and Sammy Bowlby both scored for Sacred Heart on Saturday. Emma Connor from Edina scored for the U on Saturday. Juliana Gastick scored for MSU. So did Cameron Van Batavia. Now, she's a freshman, right? Or is she a sophomore?
Van Batavia, I believe she's a sophomore.
Okay. Sloan Matthews, that's sick, 3 goals, and she's pumping them in these last couple weeks. Lauren Stensley scored on Saturday for UST. Bella Shipley for Minnesota State. Emma Peschel for OSU. Olivia Mobley, see her name a lot, for the University of Minnesota Duluth. Peyton Hemp scored twice on Saturday for the U of M's. Congratulations to her. She keeps scoring. Carly Green had a shutout for Sacred Heart.
Hell yeah.
Yep. Lots and lots and lots of Summit shout-outs, Summit scores and shutouts this week. In rankings for Division 1, Wisconsin still earning all the number 1 votes, Ohio, Minnesota, and then for the first time in a long time, we've got 2 of the C's up at 4 and 5. Minnesota Duluth has been bumped down to 6th, and then St. Lawrence. And Penn State at 8, so they're holding steady at 8 there. And St. Cloud is still at 11. They were at 8 most of the season, moved down to 11 recently, and they were sort of stuck there. But you see, Boston University is a new team, previously not ranked, now number 14. And I believe it looks like Connecticut was probably ousted there. I think probably Connecticut.
Considering they're just outside the
They're
top
just
15.
outside.
Yeah,
And
that
they got
makes sense.
24 votes. I think they were just ousted from their spot. Anyway, that's Division 1 last week. But I did see 21 players with WCHA ties are going to be filling these 2 rosters for the U.S.-Canadian Rivalry Series games this weekend. So that's a key stat. That WCHA is just absolutely pumping hockey players out of it. So we can jump to Rivalry Series, which is what we have the next. Division 3 is we just have light reporting this week. Middlebury is still in first place. River Falls in second. Gustavus is at 4th. Augsburg at 6th. Eau Claire at 14th. I've got my top 3 point getters for Division 3 are Megan Goodrow, Bailey, and then our Lily Mortensen, who had another monster weekend last weekend, just slid herself into 3rd place in the league for total points. So I think she's at 13 plus points in 4 games or something like that. So she's going crazy. She's got 33 points for 3rd in the league. Bailey Olsen's first with 38, Megan Goudreau with 37. So that's fun to see those 3 up there just pumping goals. And we'll keep our eye on D3, but they're just in the midst of all of their conference play while they figure out seedings for their 2025 national championship, which will take place March 28th and 30th for a second consecutive year at Hunt Arena in River Falls. And I bet you we might be able to go there. Actually,
when is it?
15 UB region tournament that weekend, so I might not be free. Depends on how districts wrap up.
Well, you set that one up and knocked it down.
Sorry,
didn't
but you could go. Well, it kind of depends on how my team does or whatever.
Yeah.
We still have 4 district games, so.
O2 barbecue?
Huh?
That means you would lose the first 2 games and you'd go home.
Oh, at districts?
Yeah, that would be really clutch if your team just lost twice.
Here's the thing. My team would not this group. They would never do it. Never do that. Nope.
Squirrels. Team USA, the Rivalry Series.
Rivalry Series.
Canada's got a 2-1 advantage over the U.S. Team USA will obviously be looking to even that up just a little bit. Team USA's got 11 representatives, as you said, from the WCHA, which is incredible. Canada has 10. There are a few players you have listed here. Gabby Rosenthal, Grace Zoomwinkle are no longer available to skate in the final 2 games of the Rivalry Series this weekend. Team USA has added Izzy Daniel, Claire DeGeorge, Abby Murphy, and Manon McMahon to the roster.
Yeah, so there's a lot of buzz about the last-minute roster changes that Team USA made, and if you follow women's hockey and you follow any of the journalists that report heavily on women's hockey, everyone's going like this. Everyone's wondering, like, what's up with the Breen situation? How did she get overlooked, right? I mean, I think McMahon and Murphy, this is their first ever experience with the senior national USA team. They've never been on a Rivalry Series roster, and have they done any 18s or 22s? I don't think
like USA Hockey Select Camps or playing on the
like
Women's
actual
World Championship
IIHF
rosters.
teams.
The only one that I would be familiar with would be Manon McMahon, and that's only because she's a Minnesota product. But I can't recall her being selected for any of those U18 Women's World Championship teams.
That is not me making a statement that she doesn't deserve a spot on the USA Rivalry Series roster, but what I'm reporting on is everybody's arms in the air, like, how is Abby Breen getting looked over for these for this spot? How in the world is Abby Breen not on this roster? And if this is Team USA's mindset, I mean, are they going to continue to overlook her for the next year before they create the Olympic roster? Because Team USA needs to have Abby Breen on it, is my opinion.
I honestly couldn't tell you. 2025 Women's Worlds are April 9th to the 20th. In Česká Buda something in Czechia. I'm not even going to try. I'm going to butcher that.
Peter Rodney, everybody.
I'm going to butcher that so much worse than anything has ever been butchered before, and I've seen a lot of butcher shops, so I'm not even going to try to pronounce that one.
All right, so the Rivalry Series is a nice about 6-year history tradition in the women's hockey USA versus Canada kind of repertoire. It looks like overall Canada has the tilt in their direction. They won the series 4-3 in 23-24. They won the series 4-3 in 22-23. Team USA has only won the series once when they were in a 5-game series during that COVID season, and Team USA won 4-1 in that series. And
Team USA also squandered the games played in America. So these 2 games played tonight and on Saturday are going to be in Nova Scotia
in Canada,
and
on their
Prince
home
Edward
ice.
Island.
So something fun to see. That series is great for showcasing some of these top players. Both rosters are entirely comprised of PWHL players, unlike the Rivalry Series that was taking place back in the fall that had all college rosters. So totally different makeup of these teams, and let's see what transpires over the weekend with that.
Should be fun.
I
know I'm gonna watch.
It should be fun. They do get a chance to be kind of showboaty, and there's just not really too many ramifications from this with other world stage stuff. And this year building up to the Olympics, there's plenty of world stage stuff. This other hockey news this weekend: the final Olympic qualification rounds are occurring in 3 different tournaments this weekend across the world. So let's see, 12 countries will play in 3 tournaments involving the nations ranked 7th through 15th. That'll happen this weekend while they determine which 3 teams those will be. And then there will also be a 3 nations tournament in Czechia this weekend to determine, let's see, Sweden's not participating, but this tournament will help determine Olympic qualification as well. So lots of interesting stuff here we can talk more about in the next few months about the Olympic setup for the women and how they get down to their final, is it 10 teams? But that's underway this weekend. We'll have some more ideas this weekend of who's going to be making it.
It's an exciting time.
It is an exciting time. My presentation has a couple links here for NCAA brackets. They're empty right now, but we are within 2 weeks of having some answers on how those are going to play out. And we can talk a little bit about next week. We'll talk a little bit about what the Division I NCAA tournament looks like and how they get those teams for that. But for now, that's all the women's hockey we have from week 15.
Don't look at my fish.
Hey, there's no way around.